They stopped her gurney mid-transfer and suddenly reassigned emergency surgery to her sister. How does that even happen without concern? And who already decided this behind her back right now?
They stopped my gurney right outside the operating room, and my mom said, "We're giving your surgery to your sister." I'm Sandra Forbes, 19, lying there with an IV in my arm, seconds away from emergency heart surgery, at least I was supposed to be. Nurses are still around me, confused, while my dad won't even look at me. I stare at her, trying to process it. You're what? She needs it more, my mom says. Like, this is already decided. Like, I'm not even part of the conversation. The nurse frowns. Wait, this patient is critical. Who authorized this? My dad steps in, low voice. We've already handled it. Handled it. My chest tightens not just from the condition, but from what that means. So I force myself up just enough to look straight at them and say one thing. Then you should probably tell them what the doctor told me this morning. And suddenly, both of them go completely pale. For a second, nobody moves. The nurse's eyes flick between me and my parents, confusion turning into something sharper, suspicion. My mom's hand tightens around her purse strap, knuckles whitening, while my dad finally looks at me, but it's not concern in his face. It's warning. Sandra, he says quietly, like he's trying to keep control of something that's already slipping. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Harder. I almost laugh, but it comes out as a weak breath instead. My chest aches, that deep, crushing pressure I've been trying to ignore for weeks now. The kind the doctors didn't ignore. The kind they rushed me in for. You think I'm the one making this hard? I manage, my voice thinner than I want it to be. My mom leans closer, lowering her voice like this is some private family disagreement and not something happening in the middle of a hospital hallway. Your sister's condition changed overnight, she says. They said she needs immediate intervention. They said I needed immediate intervention. I shoot back, my pulse pounding unevenly in my ears. That's why I'm here. Another nurse edges closer, clearly listening now. Ma'am, we need clarification, she says carefully. This patient is prepped for surgery. We can't just. We already spoke to administration. My dad cuts in again, firmer this time. The schedule has been updated. Updated. Like I'm an appointment that can be moved. The gurney beneath me suddenly feels less like help and more like something holding me in place while they decide if I'm worth saving. I turn my head back to my mom, searching her face for something hesitation, guilt, anything, but all I see is resolve. Cold, settled, final. More than me? I ask again, quieter now. You really think she needs it more than I do? She doesn't answer right away. And that silence says everything. The nurse looks unsettled now. I don't understand, she says. Was there new medical information we weren't informed about? That's when my mom finally speaks again, her voice tight. Marissa has more ahead of her. The words land heavier than anything else. More ahead. Not sicker, not worse. Just more worth saving. Something inside me shifts, sharp, clear, and steady despite the chaos in my chest, because now I understand this wasn't sudden. This wasn't just today. This has been building for a long time. I swallow hard, forcing myself to stay focused, to stay conscious, to say what I need to say before they move me somewhere else, before they take this decision completely out of my hands. I look directly at the nurse, then back at my parents, and I say, louder this time, then maybe someone should explain why Dr. Levin told me this morning that if I don't get this surgery today, I won't survive the week. The hallway goes completely still, and the nurse's expression drops as she turns slowly to look at my parents. Is that true? She asks. My dad doesn't answer. My mom doesn't either. They just stand there silent. The silence stretches just long enough to feel dangerous. The nurse straightens, her tone shifting from uncertain to firm. I need a clear answer. This patient is marked critical in the system. My mom exhales slowly, like she's losing patience. We've already explained our other daughter. This isn't about explanations, the nurse cuts in. This is about medical necessity. I feel my heartbeat stutter irregular, sharp, and I grip the edge of the gurney to steady myself. Every second we stand here talking feels like it's costing me something I don't have to spare. She's stable, I say, forcing the words out. Marissa wasn't even admitted as critical this morning. I heard the doctor. My dad's jaw tightens. Things changed. When? I fire back, 'cause no one told me anything changed. That's when it hits me again. This wasn't a conversation, it was a decision made somewhere else, behind closed doors, where I didn't exist. The nurse glances toward the operating doors, then back at my chart. She was cleared less than an hour ago, she mutters, more to herself than anyone. My mom's voice drops, sharper now. Sandra, stop this. You're not thinking clearly. I let out a weak breath, then look her dead in the eyes. No, I say. For the first time, I think I am. A beat passes. Then my dad steps closer to the nurse and says something under his breath, and her expression changes instantly. What did he just say? I ask. My voice sharper now, despite the tightness in my chest. The nurse hesitates, and that hesitation is enough. Sir, she says carefully, that doesn't override surgical priority. My stomach drops. Override. So that's what this is. You asked them to replace me, I say, staring at my dad now. Not guessing anymore. Knowing.
Just a second. He just said they went to administration. So, this wasn't a mistake. They actually arranged this. How do you even override emergency surgery like that?
He doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. My mom steps in quickly, like she can still control this. We did what we had to do, she says. Marissa's condition has progressed. Then prove it. I cut in, louder than I thought I could manage, because mine already has. A couple down the hall turns. A doctor at the station is watching now. This isn't contained anymore. My mom leans in, her voice dropping to a harsh whisper. You don't understand the full picture. Then explain it, I shoot back. She hesitates, and that hesitation is everything. Then she says it. Marissa has more of a future ahead of her. The words hit harder than anything else. Not sicker, not worse, just more worth saving. The nurse's face tightens. That's not a medical determination. No, I say quietly. It's a choice. And then I take a breath, uneven, painful, and add the one thing I hadn't planned to say out loud. The doctor also told me this didn't just happen. My condition got this bad because something was ignored years ago. The air shifts instantly, and this time both of my parents go completely still. What do you mean, ignored? The nurse asks. Her voice quieter now, but sharper. My mom answers too fast. That's not what the doctor said. But I don't look at her. I keep my eyes on the nurse. I started having symptoms when I was 12, I say, each word deliberate, despite the pressure building in my chest. Chest pain, dizziness. I passed out twice at school. The nurse's gaze slowly shifts to my parents. And you followed up with cardiology? She asks them. My dad crosses his arms, defensive. It wasn't consistent. It was documented. I cut in. They told you to bring me back. Multiple times. Memories hit in flashes, appointments that never got scheduled, complaints brushed off. My mom saying, "You're just tired," right after hanging up a call about Marissa. It didn't seem urgent back then, my mom says, but her voice is thinner now. It was, I reply. You just had something else you thought mattered more. A doctor approaches, drawn by the tension. What's going on here? The nurse doesn't hesitate this time. Patient was removed from surgery by family request. She's marked critical. He looks straight at my parents. That's not how this works. My mom tries again. Our other daughter, I understand, he says, cutting her off. But one of your daughters is actively deteriorating right now. Silence crashes down around us. I swallow, then force out the words that make everything irreversible. If I die because they delayed this, that gets documented, right? No one answers immediately, but my parents don't look at me anymore. The answer comes, but not from my parents. It absolutely does, the doctor says, his voice firm, already turning toward the nurse. Get Dr. Levin down here. Now. Everything shifts after that. What was a family decision just seconds ago suddenly isn't theirs anymore. Phones come out, charts are pulled up. My name, my vitals, my scans, all of it reappears in the system like it was never supposed to disappear in the first place. Doctor, Levin arrives fast, still in scrubs, his expression tightening the moment he sees me still in the hallway. Why isn't she in the OR? He demands. No one answers right away. The nurse steps in. There was a request to reassign the slot to her sister. Dr. Levin doesn't even look at my parents when he responds. Denied. One word. Final. He moves to my side immediately, checking my chart, then me. Sandra, stay with me, all right? We're fixing this. Fixing this! Like it should have never been broken. Within minutes, everything is reversed. Orders reinstated. My surgery marked as non-transferable, critical priority. Marissa's case reviewed serious, yes, but stable enough to wait. Not a choice anymore. A fact. And then the deeper truth starts surfacing. Dr. Levin pulls up my older records notes from years ago, recommendations, follow-ups that never happened, patterns that no one can ignore now that they're being said out loud. This progression didn't start recently, he says, not accusing, just stating. It was missed, but we all know it wasn't. It was ignored. My mom starts crying quietly, trying to explain timing, stress, Marissa being sick, but the words don't land the same way anymore. Not here. Not now. Because now, it's written down. Documented. Permanent. They wheel me forward again, back toward the operating room, and this time, no one stops us. I don't look at them as we pass. Not my mom. Not my dad. There's nothing left to ask. The surgery is long, but it works. When I wake up, everything feels different, slower, heavier, but stable, alive. The fallout doesn't wait long. The hospital files an internal report interference in critical care. A social worker reviews my history as a minor. Questions turn formal. Timelines get examined. Marissa has her surgery 2 days later. She recovers. But our family doesn't. Relatives find out pieces of it, enough to shift how they look at my parents. Enough that explanations start sounding like excuses. And the records don't change. They show a pattern. Weeks later, I sit by a window in recovery, sunlight hitting my face. My phone buzzes. A message from my mom. Please, just talk to me. I stare at it for a long moment. Then I lock the screen. Because for the first time in my life, the decision about me isn't theirs anymore.
If a life-saving surgery can be quietly reassigned with a conversation behind closed doors, how many other decisions like that are happening right now that no one questions?